Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Dead Frontier 2 Beginner's Guide. The last 5 episodes I recorded in one day. I'm recording this on a new day now. That music is really loud. So apologies for the delay. I've been a bit busy with personal projects and things, but this episode's going to be covering the general flow of Dead Frontier 2 because there's actually quite a lot to cover in terms of just the gameplay itself. So I'm going to be leaving the outpost. I'm going to be going into the world. I'm going to be explaining, combat. And building, just almost like a let's play, except I'm going to be explaining things as I go along. So it's a good little tool to just follow along, and hopefully you'll learn a few things about the combat and the way the game flows. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, of course, obviously I'm on this menu. So if I hit play character, I'll be in MMO mode, and we'll be starting straight up. So let's do that. We're in the Dalbo Police Department, which is the first outpost out of 3. As I've explained before, the outpost is essentially where you can go and trade and your sort of safe haven. Except I'm not in the police department, I'm outside. I actually forget that happens. But basically, yeah, we're out here right now. So I'm going to quickly take a look at my inventory here. So I've got a bunch of damaged items. For now, we can deal with those. We've got a 2x4. We've got an Ivanov. This is what you always start with. You start with a pistol and an Ivanov. The 2x4 is obviously just a block of wood, essentially. But this is the world of Dead Frontier 2. It's pretty big, it's pretty expansive. Apologies for the background noise. There we go, dealt with it. Oh, we've got a zombie after us. But yeah, basically the way the game works is you're in this big world, like I've explained before, and there's zombies. So you want to kill the zombies, and that's essentially it. Yeah, so the way the game works right now, there's buildings you can explore, there's the big world you can explore, but most of the game is interior based, so we're gonna just take on a small little diner to start because they're very small buildings. The buildings get very expansive towards the end with multiple floors, but we're just gonna go with a straight up simple little interior building. Like most third-person shooters or first-person shooters, you can aim down sights with that. You can't actually shoot using just the left mouse button. You have to aim down with your right mouse button. Like I've said before, if you want to change your controls, you have to do it from the launch menu. Annoyingly, but that's just the way it is. So this zombie's seen me. Now we can either fight with melee or we can do pistols. So I'm going to just do pistols because it's simple. Always aim for the head, does more damage. There you go. First zombie down. So of course you can see my experience gain there. That's how much experience I've made. I need 250 to level up, so that's essentially that. Looting is quite simple. You just go up to one of these glowing corpses or objects and you hold E or whatever you set it to, and it will give you an item. So there you go, 20 gauge. We can loot this one, see what we get. Iced coffee. This is like a stimulant, so it will give you extra speed and stuff if you take it, and a little bit of food and water bonuses, so we'll use that straight off the bat. That'll give us a bit of extra speed. I'm using shift to sprint, but personally I like to use jogger, which is why I've got the skill, as I mentioned in the other videos. But you can use sprint if you like. All the little icons down here, you can't see them because it blurs it, but all the little icons down here, that one is the dodge mechanic. If you press space, you can dodge in a different direction to avoid getting hit. The one that looks like a kick animation is exactly that. If you press Alt, I think it's left Alt, you do a little kick. It does a little damage and gets zombies off your back. I'll demonstrate here. There you go. And you can just combo that with a few shots. Bang. So yeah, that's the sort of skills you get. You can also press Control to sneak, and you get to sneak around. These used to be things you have to actually have the skill for. But recently Admin Pwn made it so that you can actually just have them all off the bat. So even if you haven't spec'd into them, you'll have the skills themselves, which is actually really good. So yeah, just press F to go into another room, and here we are. So loot this, see what we get. This is basically the flow, and that's kind of what I'm going into. So we've got 1.2 thousand milliliters of fuel, which is used on the car and chainsaws, which is very cool. These rooms here with the question marks above them, they are boss rooms, which I'm not going to cover in this video. We'll cover that in probably the next video. But yeah, they're very simple for level 1 to 5. They get much more interesting down the line though. You can also gib zombies like that. You can shoot the legs off if you want. Some people do it, I don't tend to, I just tend to shoot them, like in the head. I don't bother crippling them, I just kill them. I'm also going to demonstrate quickly melee. So, there's two attacks with melee. There's the left click attack and the right click attack, and zombies are ambushing me. The right click attack is a little faster. It depends, it's kind of just a preference of what you want. I will do a full video at some point, maybe after the boss one, just demonstrating combat with the melee weapons, because it's a little more interesting than just actually killing them. So right there we found a paramedics bag. I didn't think you could find paramedics bags at level 1. I guess I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you weren't able to until recently, I guess. Iced coffee, you know, always good. So, yeah, this is kind of the flow of the game. You go through rooms. If you've got a mission to do, then obviously you do the mission. But you just loot things, you kill things. It's quite a lot of fun. So each medical item has their own little effects. So this cures bleeding, severe burns, and bacterial infection. The iodine, I actually don't pronounce it, cures radiation resistance and causes radiation resistance and cures radiation poisoning. So it gives you a bit of resistance to radiation, but also gets rid of any radiation you have, which is obviously very useful. Those kind of things, those status effects, you won't really have to worry about very much until later down the line. The only things that can actually give you those status effects is level 1 to 5 bosses if you're not in a level 10 plus zone, or level 5 plus zone. So it's not actually that bad. Now pressing V, you can see the map. You can see where this is the main room where I am, and we've been in all these rooms. The red one is the boss room, which we haven't been in, which we're not going to go in because it's too early for that. You know, you got to ease yourself in. But that's the first building there. Pretty simple. Now the open world, as I've said before, is very expansive. I'm actually going to go this way to try and demonstrate that. But these are bigger buildings. For example, this is I don't actually know what this is. I think it's a warehouse type building. I'll quickly go in there just to show you. The bigger the building doesn't mean, you know, the stronger the zombies. It just means there's a lot more space and a lot more to do. So if you want a really quick session, then you want to go for small buildings. Yeah, so this is a rather big building. Going in here, this is a big hallway, you know. So it's things like that. But we don't need to worry about those right now. It's easy just to focus on smaller buildings when you're starting out, at least in my opinion. So we're going to just keep heading this way, actually, north. Because I want to show you sort of just how large the world can seem at times. I'm going to ignore these zombies. I'm out of sprints, so I'm going to have to just jog my way. But yeah, you can see it gets a little big at times. You can see there's a lot here. There's a silo thing over there. I don't actually know if it's a silo. I'm not a farmer. There's a lot. There's a large area basically. There's a big old area to cover. And we're here on the map. The further I guess what's is it east? I actually don't know. East or west? I'm stupid. I don't know. The further right you go on the map, it gets worse and worse. So you can see there's level 30, and that's where it's really quite tricky, especially for a new player. You don't want to go that far. So it's very cool. You can also find loot just out in the world, which is always good. Found some painkillers there. But that's essentially the main flow of Death Hunter 2, right? You know, looting, killing, selling. That's kind of the leveling, killing, looting, selling. I don't know. I can't really come up with like an acronym for it, but that's essentially it. It's very simple. You just go out, you kill things, and you loot for items and sell them off and level up and make money. That's basically the way the game works. Very, very good little loop. I like it. So we're going to head back to the Dalby Police Department. We're going to sell a bunch of stuff off. And I'll probably wrap this video up. Okay, so now we're back in the police department. There's a whole bunch of players here. So from that little loot run, as we call it, we got some fuel. We got some 20 gauge shells, and we got some meds. Now, usually ammo doesn't sell unless it's a max level, like unless it's a full stack of ammo. Same with fuel, so I wouldn't bother personally selling any of that until it's actually you know, the max stack. But we've got the paramedic bag, the iodine, and the painkillers, which are immediately sellable. Now, if we go to the selling tab, the cool thing about the selling tab is that if you hit sell, because this is all a player-run market, you understand, so it basically means that the player market is it's kind of its own little economy. It's not fixed prices or anything. So this is basically found an average of the prices in the market for painkillers in terms of cheapest. So that, you know, selling it at the price it automatically sets it to will likely give you a sale. You can be a bit more adventurous if you can be a little more adventurous with it if you want. But this is basically how it works. So yep, you can sell those off. Paramedics bag, the iodine. Meds tend to sell really easily. But we can't really sell these off because they're not full stacks. You can try, but they're not really the... it's better to go for the full stacks if you want to sell. So what I tend to do is I tend to go to my account stash and just throw my stuff in the stash. We're going to keep the ACP rounds because that's what the Ivanov uses. But yeah, so that's essentially this video. Hopefully that explained a bit how the flow of the game works. If you enjoyed, appreciate a like as always. Feel free to leave me any tips and suggestions for next videos, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one, guys.